This is Rich. I use the he, him pronouns, and this is Star Wars Saturdays. Star Wars Saturdays is an ongoing campaign that I have been running since December of 2017. In Star Wars Saturdays, every month, sometimes a couple times a month, I'll choose a different RPG system, offer it up to the Gauntlet community, which is this worldwide online community of tabletop friends and aficionados of indie and OSR style tabletop role playing games. Folks sign up, and then we all gather together on Saturdays mornings for me, afternoons for some of my friends across the pond, and we tell stories. And it's an anthology style game, which has taken place during up until October of this year, 2019. And until that point, the backdrop was the original trilogy of movies. We have moved past that, friends. As of October, the demarcation was that Return of the Jedi took place. And now we are past the fall of Emperor Palpatine. He's dead. He'll never come back. Trust me on this, guys. He's just gone. It's canon. He's dead. Anyway, and so we're dealing with time just after that when the Empire is falling apart. I'm using a little bit of the EU, but just enough for a flavor, nothing to where you need to go study Wikipedia like I sometimes rabbit hole and do. But I'm like not an expert. I just like, oh, that's a cool thing. That will help me. I will use that. I'm kind of like Disney, except I don't have bajillions of dollars. We are playing Ghost Orbit. Ghost Orbit is a game from Bad Quail Games on itch. It is a game about spacers, spacers who are unionized and effectively are engineers on a space station. I have set it on Prospero's Dream, which is from the Pound of Flesh module for Mothership. So I'm like all kinds of different kinds of peanut butters and chocolates and everything. It's a crazy Reese cup mix up. I'm very OSR about it. In fact, I'm kind of proud of myself, guys. Normally I'm a story gamey kind of guy, but I'm doing some OSR. We're rolling on tables. It's crazy. This is our second session of Ghost Orbit. All of the player characters are ex-Imperials who have ended up here as brand new Union workers on Prospero's Dream. The Dream is a setting which is on the butt end of the galaxy. It is a place where ex-Imperials would be hired. There's a lot going on. One of the major things that is happening here is that you guys get paid in script, and if you don't pay a certain amount every once in a while of that script, then you lose your current housing privileges, are moved to Doptown, which is the deoxygenized, can't say that easily, but basically low O2 is basically the bowels of the station where you do not want to go. It's the worst of the worst places. So you guys stay gainfully employed, working for the Union, doing whatever poodoo job they throw you into, and then you can keep your head above water. We've made a couple of rules tweaks after a conversation with the game designer that I had. Thank you very much, Michael. And so we've tweaked some of the things that we had in our end of session feedback as we talked it out. Recovering gear costs 1 script per segment. Integrity costs 3 script per segment. And recovering vitals requires a scene, but then you roll 2d6 to see how well you actually cleared it. So it could be a very emotional scene where you shared a great deal of stuff, but there's a possibility that it didn't pay off. Like for some reason it didn't take hold. Should make you feel better, but it doesn't. I've been there. Hopefully, friends, well, hopefully you haven't lived through that, but it's possible that maybe you have. The last thing that I'll say before I start having folks introduce their characters is that we have the X card on the table. So if there's anything that causes you to feel uncomfortable to the point where you want to withdraw from the game, or you're just literally not having fun, and this is kind of a game where we're playing people who are a little bit miserable. So fun is, this isn't Yahoo fun like normal Star Wars. This is like Babylon 5 or The Expanse fun. But if it comes to a point where you're uncomfortable to the point where you don't want to continue the game, or you're just like, hey, I don't want to deal with that today. All you got to do is you can make an X card, type it into our chat. We also have a role for your party. I'll link up for you guys. It's on the Spacer IDs character keeper, in case you want to look for it there. And there's a way to X card there as well. And I'm not going to challenge you on your X card because I don't have your lived experience, friends. All you have to do is do that X card. We will pause, have a brief conversation where I don't try to talk you out of it. I just want to understand what it was if it wasn't clear. I may just confirm with you, hey, was it the thing where I said the person's teeth were yanked out of their face? And you're like, yes, I've X-corded that, Rich. We'll backtrack. I'll excise it from our game, and will never appear again. We'll just leave it on the cutting room floor. Now, I know that is a blunt instrument, and there are more nuanced safety tools, but this is the one that I'm most comfortable with, and hopefully you guys accept that I'm going to go forward with the best of intentions, and we're here to try to have a good time together. That is all of my preamble, friends. And so now I'm going to start to hand the baton over to you guys to remind us of the characters that you're playing, and then we will reestablish where we are and jump forward. So Marco, if you could, please introduce yourself and tell us about your character.
Okay, I am playing Vlaz Seth Uruga, just Vlaz. I am a Chiss mechanic. My specialty was AT-AT repair. That is not my current assignment. As a Chiss, the gray in my hair does not necessarily indicate my age, but that I sired an exceptional child. And that was mostly due to her mother, and they were both lost on the Death Star. Last episode, Vlaz had an opportunity to speak to a monk of the cult of Sol Invictus, and the monk helped him get over some of his anxiety by talking about it, but the monk said to him that his work was really important. It helps lots of people. But all Vlaz heard was, your work is very important. And so he has decided to dive his head into his work and make that his main focus. And I think the opportunity may come where he sees what the monk really meant and realizes that it's not the work for itself, but rather the helping people with it that is going to help him get over his issues.
I love Marco trying very hard to make a worthwhile, redeemable character in this hive of scum and villainy. It is wonderful. I love it. You're kind of my protagonist. Well, if you could please introduce yourself and your character.
Well, my name is Will, my pronouns are he, him, and I'm playing Quentin Brecco, otherwise known as Quint, and he is a ex-hotshot TIE fighter pilot with 181st Baron Sunter Fells Squadron, and he is out here in the arse end of space desperately trying to get his way back into the cockpit of something good. And so this session, he is going to try and follow up on the menial job offer from Tempest Security. If he does some corridor patrol duty, then he may be able to eventually work his way up to the luxury shuttle that's flown by the Tempest security guards, which is the fastest thing out here on Prospero's dream, and the closest thing he's going to get to being in a TIE pilot. And he knows that if they would just let him behind the cockpit of a fighter pilot, he could get rid of this syndicate and these hostages and all of these problems all in one flyby. It would all be done.
Yeah, I had to pause from the laughter so that wasn't too loud. I have a weird laugh sometimes. Thank you very much, Will. Erez, if you could introduce yourself and your character.
My name is Erez, he, him, and my character is Doro Beza. He's a somewhat chubby Toguruta. He used to be an administrative clerk, and now he's stuck in this shit. and he should be running this entire station, but he's not. And that's it.
In the first session, the three of you were combined into a team by Raidmar, who is the union leader on the station. Technically, he's the union leader of the local Teamster Local 32819L for the docks on Prospero's Dream. However, you guys have no other large leader of the union, so you're kind of farmed underneath that as maintenance workers and engineers on the station. He sent you out to the chop shop, as it were, to do some work for the babushka. She runs the chop shop where people have cybernetics installed on them. You found that she had a virus on her network, her little intranet, and you took care of it. You also found that she has some people who have viruses, and you let her take care of that and moved on. Good job, friends. Came back, and you guys went off to try to recover a little bit after your work, and that is when Raidmar and the rest of you found out that there were a number of fellow union workers who had been kidnapped by an enemy of the company, the Golyanovo to Brava, the
Brava.
yeah, the Brava, the syndicate that runs this place, and they are also the ones who move Sycorax, which is a type of spice that is manufactured here on the sly. And yeah, it turns out that there was another syndicate trying to move their way in, the Stratemeyer syndicate. They took a number of Teamsters and a small number of freighters, kidnapped them, and at the end of our session, 2 of those union reps were assassinated on HoloNet and broadcast to the station in an attempt to terrify people. Raidmar was at the Ecstasy with his clerk friend, Doro Beza, and he left muttering about wanting to go talk to Yandy about this. Yeah, so we already know that Quint is trying to get some work for Tempest, and that Vlaz was down in the Solarian Church being counseled. So, Eris, you're saying something? I couldn't hear you.
Yeah. If he actually grumbly lives, I would offer him to join him. But he probably would shut me down. So.
Oh, okay. So Quint, yeah, you've got your Tempest assignment, and it looks like as you're leaving to go work your, if you remember, the assignment was a night cycle corridor guard duty. You had to make 2 rounds of the dream and deal with any issues.
Yes.
That was, and yeah, and you're going to get paid for it. But if you donate all of that script back to Tempest after a number of those missions, you will be brought in as a probie. Yay.
Well, it is, the Academy had a lot of drudge work, and I don't expect this to be any different.
Exactly. So, Quint, as you're leaving, Doro comes up to you, ambles over the Togruta, wants your attention. What do you do?
Yes,
Oh,
Doro?
I meant not him. I meant the other guy. That
so I'm
the
so
actual important person.
Raidmar.
Yes.
Raidmar.
Oh, you want to talk
Yes.
to Raidmar as he's on his way out to Yandy. Okay, well, let's pick up with that. So Raidmar, if you remember, he has that crazy kind of rebel helmet thing going on. He was an A-wing fighter pilot who mustered out right at the end of the war, picked up here, and he is marching his way towards Yandy. When you come up to him, what?
Yeah. Would you like me to join you?
No, I'm going to be saying some things that she won't want anyone else to witness. So, best if you go. Now, if you push again, you can roll for it. You can risk some face if you would like to.
I could be helpful for you.
All right. Let's roll it. Are you rolling with your red die?
Let's see. Do I even want to risk anything?
Yeah, do you want to risk your face? Because that's what you're going to have to risk.
That's what I have to risk. Like that's what I'm
Yeah.
rolling right now. But I'll risk administration ability and
Oh, you know what?
convincing
That
things.
that
Yeah.
could work.
And
that
I'll
could
roll
work.
with the red as well.
Hey, your
Other
administration's like
face.
all the way. Like there are no.
Almost, yeah. Oh, yeah,
No,
it's all the way. I upgraded it quite a bit.
Holy crap.
I need to run this station. I said so. Let's see what I get.
Okay.
So the lowest number is the red.
All right.
But
So
I
you're gonna
got a
mark
10
one.
otherwise.
You got a 10 otherwise. Wow, that is pretty great.
So I mark one in administration, I believe. Or do you prefer a face?
Well, as much as you spend on administration, that I kind of want you to be able to risk that, but I did say it was face, so let's have you mark face. Just because it's less of him judging your ability to administrate right now, and then that's what you're offering.
Just me.
It's more like, does he trust you? So he thinks for a moment. You've got the 10. He says, listen to Gruta. Stay in the back. Only talk if I give you permission. Otherwise, she's killed people for pissing her off.
I heard.
All right. So then he's going to head over to a lift, and you'll be making your way to speak with Yeti. It seems like he has acquiesced and is okay with you doing that. She is going to be, you're going to find her. I think you're going to find her just because I think it's cool at the icebox. But we'll pick up with that in just a little bit. So let's jump over to Vlad. You finished up your counseling with Iola Blancuna, the Solarian gardener monk, and he was trying to help you understand your place. And even though the things that you've lost, perhaps they are all help to guide you to where you're supposed to be. And now, we had a brief conversation. I just want to confirm, are you, like, to become a member of the Solarian Church, you have to accept a bindi that is burned into your skull. Is that a thing that Vlaz is doing or considering?
Vlaz is considering it, but
but hasn't gone there yet. Okay.
He hasn't gone there yet, but that's the direction he's heading.
Okay.
I think there's another scene with the monk this session that if things go well, that's what he's going to decide to do.
All right. Awesome. Cool. So once you're done with that, you have a small flat within this area. Of course, it's like rented. It's not a thing that you can own at this point, nor could you afford if you could own it. Or you can head up to Ecstasy, to Heaven. Where is it that Vlad would go? I imagine if this counseling took quite a while, you'd probably be tired. Would you head back, or did you think he's got a little bit of refreshed energy and would want to go out and do something else?
Actually, I was wondering if, because Quint helped Vlaz repair his equipment last time, that if Quint was up for it, Vlaz would help him with his guard duty if that was acceptable. I could do, like, weasel my way into that scene. The fall patrol.
Cool. That sounds neat. So Quint, you start up your night duty, trying to work through some slices of the doing the rounds. And when Vlaz comes up and catches up to you, he seems a little restored. Like the weight of what you guys had witnessed at Babushka's does not seem to be weighing him down. He seems in a renewed sense of purpose, perhaps, when he comes up to you, Quint. Quint, are you dressed in your coveralls as an engineer, or have you dressed differently for this work you're doing?
I feel like on Prospero's Dream, there's not much hope. There's not much in the way of fashion changing and things. So I think I'm dressed in a clean pair of coveralls. Let's say, like my cleanest pair of coveralls.
Nice.
The one that I wear for my 0G stuff, because obviously when I'm in the 0G stuff, I've got a suit on, so no mess ever gets onto it, right? So like, it's well used but pristine from all the stains and grime of the usual stuff. And I have a pair of red stripes going up the legs, of course, which I put on myself.
Good. I
Corellian
mean,
ones, yeah.
Nice. Good. So
I think
when
as Vloz approaches, though, if he's looking renewed, I think you know, I watch him come up the thing, and then I snap off Imperial salute, like. Engineer Vloz, nice to see you.
Good to see you as well, Quint. I heard you mention that you were doing this extra duty, and I wanted to see if you needed any help or company.
Well, I'd always appreciate your company, Vloz. You know your way around this station. You know your stuff. You know the meaning of hard work and being in dangerous situations, unlike other members of our little work crew. But yeah. Anyways, so
We're not. Are we expecting much danger here? I guess it could always happen in this.
no, this should be a real piece of poodoo when it comes down to it.
All right.
So, what have you been doing with yourself, Vloz?
I went to the Solarian enclave, and they have trees and plants everywhere. The air is really fresh and it's peaceful.
Well, it's very nice there, yes, indeed. But you know, I'd be careful around such people, Vloz. Hokey religions are no match for a good blaster at your side. And we're not even allowed to have blasters here. So he pats his bolter and his sheathed vibro blade and says, so it pays to keep an even closer eye on things. Now,
the whole passion thing never appealed to me well. I need to find some new direction.
Well, what was it they used to say? May the force be with you, or whatever it was. Yes. I hear that's making something of a comeback back in the core these days, but fairy tales, you know. Anyways, I was wondering, and he leans in close. I mean, we're doing corridor patrol, right? So I imagine we're kind of like walking and talking as we
Yeah, absolutely. You're going around the main kind of circle, so it is a really long, winding path there. So yeah, you guys are walking and talking.
I lean in close and I tap my eye, the barnacle one, and I say, I'm a bit concerned about what we saw in Babushka's chop shop. Now, I know we agreed to keep this between ourselves, but we should keep an eye out for each other, yes? If this thing gets out of hand, then...
That, whatever that was, it's not going to stay in that robot, and it's not going to stay in that shop forever.
No, not with her hygiene.
They're not taking it seriously at all.
Indeed. So my aim is to earn our script, keep our mouths shut, but watch our backs, and hopefully we can get out of here before it all goes to hell. That sound good to you?
I don't really have anywhere else to go.
There's a whole galaxy out there, Vloz. This is just a waypoint.
As you guys are talking, there are a couple of near human, young little flirts in flashing holosuits with wings who are handing out flyers for the Psycho Romp. If you want to get an idea of space, you're somewhat near the Canyon Heavy Market, which is number 6 on the map. They're on either of those two maps, so the one that's top down or the one that's kind of a 3D model. And yeah, they don't see you as Tempest mercenaries, right? Because you're wearing your coveralls, and they try to engage in a little conversation to talk up the Psycho Romp. Do you engage in this conversation or just kind of take the flyer and move on? Trash it.
The Psycho Romp?
Oh, yes, the Psycho Romp. It's one of the best bars in all of Prospero's Dream. And the other one says, no, it's the best. It's the best. And she moves over and says, oh, you have nice muscles. You should come. We could dance together. Will you come?
Will you be there?
Yes, I will be there. My shift is done in only an hour, and then I'm going straight there. And if you say that Millie brought you, then I will get a bonus.
Well, Millie, I could do with a drink when I finish my shift. Maybe I'll see you there.
He giggles, and the other one laughs and says, "Oh, Millie, you're so saucy." So you guys continue, you hit Canyon Heavy Market. Oh, sorry, what's Vlas's reaction to this? I'm really curious about
he just stood and ignored the whole group of them.
He just moves on, like
he maybe nodded acknowledgement and then avoided any real eye contact or there's no interest in going to whatever that. It sounds like a lot of people in one place at the same time.
Yeah, it is certainly that. You guys kind of circle around Canyon Heavy Market. Canyon Heavy Market is a place where a lot of hackers, like it's one of the, not touristy, but like it's a hub. There are people who come to Prospero Station on purpose to go there and compete in some of the hacking and slicing competitions that go on there and trade. It's kind of like a black hackers marketplace, as it were. Even though virtually there are a lot of conversations that happen, it's nice to get in and really trade. And so you guys head past Canyon Heavy, and you're kind of circling back to do the circuit when you see up ahead near basically what's called Mama's Game, which is a type of club that's like a game club. You see that there is a Q team. Now, you guys remember the letter Q team from when you first came onto the station. They're the folks that are in the bright orange hazmat suits who spray you with this really funky foam that takes several days to completely wash out and discolors it actually discolored your skin a little bit, Flaws. And they are normally like at entry points onto Prospero's Dream, but there's a team of 4 of them who are talking to a couple of people that have come out of this little Mama's Game club, and it seems a little bit heated. One of them, the Q team members, has basically a stun stick, and what it looks like the 2 people who just came out, they're really not super interested in this conversation, are trying to get away, but it doesn't look like the Q team wants them to extract themselves from this conversation. What do you do?
Gentlemen, what seems to be the problem here?
We'll need you too. One of them comes through, and the voice comes through slightly modulated, right? Because they're in a hazmat suit, and you can see that this is a human. He's got the hazmat suit, like has that clear, hard plastic kind of, so you can see that they're talking, but they got a little mic thing, and it comes out of a speaker because there's a completely contained hazmat suit. And he goes, "We'll need samples from you too. We want blood samples from these 2."
And I think Quint steps in front of Vlas and puts his hand on the bolt at his hip and says, "For what purpose, gentlemen?"
We're Q team.
Yes, I know you're a Q team. And
that's the purpose.
What's the purpose? Now, I am here on Tempest security orders. So
nice. Sounds like you're trying to talk these guys, talk into them, lean a little bit, and make them do what you want. So
yeah,
let's bring this to a roll. Is there anything you'd like to risk?
I'll risk my face. Why not?
All right, go for
That
it.
seems the most appropriate one, right?
Does seem very appropriate here.
Cool. So I roll all three, correct? And
You roll all three.
I got 2 6s and a 5. So yeah, I think I've smashed that no matter what.
Cool. You drop the Tempest thing, and the one Q team person, he says, "We have rumors of an infection. We're just here to make sure that everybody on the Dream is safe. These two, they're setting off one of our counters.
And
we appreciate your help in making sure that we get blood samples from the two of them."
have you informed Tempest Command?
I'm sure that has gone up the chain. I haven't done it myself.
Right, well, I'll include it in my reports at the end of the shift, but yes, you're right. For the station's good. Gentlemen, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to comply with the Q team. Station regs, you know?
And yeah, they look at you, and with 4 QT members and 2 people who say they're from Tempest, they're going to roll over. And in a few moments, one of the QT members pulls out a little extractor and does that, drops it into a little vial. The second one drops it into a vial as well. And QT member, now that you've kind of dropped yourself as a Tempest Merc representative, he doesn't push you on a blood sample right now, and he does ask you, listen, do you have an ident? Like, would he know you're Quint, or is it just a...
Yeah, no, I think I've got like a hollow ident thing across the front of my thing, which I've tapped on for the purpose of my shift so that I can
Mr. Brecco, have you guys seen anything?
No, not seen anything on this shift so far, but if I do see anything, I'll make sure to report it to Q team and to Tempest, of course.
Thank you. It's
what would we be looking for?
Well, right now we're still doing a little bit of research, but there are people who are, if you see bioorganic signs, that's what you should look for. There are people who are claiming that they're losing themselves to some kind of infection. We're still trying to find a live sample to understand what's going on. We've run into 3 examples of it so far. So at this point, we feel like we're early on. Now, Vlad, you can listen in on this, right? This isn't a thing where he just pulled Quint away from the 2 people who just gave up their blood samples because he doesn't want to freak them out.
And is there any indication in any of the descriptions they give of the sickness that leads me to believe that it is those 4 patients that are under, what's her name?
Babushka.
Babushka.
Here's the deal. You're rather sure that these guys have not seen those 4 patients, but what you saw in the logs, they are in a more advanced state than what the Q team has witnessed.
And they're alive. Okay.
And just to clarify, Quint has consciously lied about this.
Yes. You are listening to Quint very consciously lying about this.
I mean, I even phrased it as the truth from a certain point of view.
Of course you did, because you're Imperial.
On the shift. And I haven't said anything on the shift.
Rich caught that. The Q team member was like, oh, yeah, sure. That totally makes sense.
Yeah. I wondered if you'd caught it.
Oh, yeah, I did.
But obviously, this is Vloz's chance to, I can't subtly kick you under the table at this point or anything like that. So.
Right, but I don't
I
think
remember those words that we exchanged at the end of our bribe.
in Blas's head, what he's thinking is, how can I get them the information without implicating myself?
See, Vaz is a much better person because in Quint's mind, what he's thinking is, how much can I get out of Babushka if I promise not to report it to the Q team? But yeah. Yeah, so I would just ask, any fatalities?
Yes.
Right.
Right. The 3 that we were talking about.
Oh, they all died.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
wow.
we are hoping for a live sample to understand exactly what is interfacing with the organics and how it is affecting people so that we can find a way to disinfect the station.
Is this a droid?
No.
Because you said organics.
Right. Yeah. He's trying to basically he's using a generic term instead of humans, right? He's using a generic like gentle
Life
beings
forms.
or
Yeah.
sentient beings, you know. He's also saying organics. Perhaps that is a cue to him thinking of droids as being sentient. Perhaps.
Well, I won't delay you any longer, gentlemen. We've got the rest of my of a patrol to finish off. I'll report this back into Tempest, and I wish you luck. And
Thank you, Mr. Brecco.
I will make sure to record make sure the Q team is aware of any incidents that come across.
And then they'll let you go. And we will cut away from the 2 of you continuing on your patrol to the kind of the lift still going down to the slick bays, or the icebox as it's called. The icebox is the Dream slang term for its highly illegal synthetic sleeving facility in Slick Bay venue. Now, remember we talked about shoving Prospero's Dream into Star Wars. The idea of sleeving is not a thing that I necessarily want in my Star Wars right now. So a Slick Bay is really what's happening here is virtual reality type stuff. Of course, there are things about, you know, downloading people's sentience and stuff like that is in the expanded universe, but we're just not going to play around with that right now. And it is because Reedmar wants to talk angrily at Yandy, and you've convinced him that you're a person who should come along. All the way down, like we cut in and Reedmar's on his comm link talking to someone else. He's basically giving orders to guys. You have heard him, Doro, like he is already organizing for a strike. Like he wants to walk in with most of his teamsters ready to walk off the job if this goes badly with Yandy. And so when you come into the icebox, it is clean. Is like for as gross as Babushka's chop shop is as clean and pristine and sleek as the icebox. Well, it is if you remember the hallways from the original Star Wars New Hope, right, where everything was the very 70s mod, clean designs, perfectly poured concrete, Duracrete floor, soft lighting, so nothing's very harsh here. And Reedmar walks in. It's like he's been here dozens of times. It's probably maybe the first time you've come through here, Doro, since you started working, unless this is a thing you're somewhat interested in. But he comes in. There are a couple of droids who are attendants, and he says, "Where's Yandy?" And they interface with a little thing. You see that the little screens that they are sitting at from their desks move a little bit, and one of them, a protocol droid, says, "Mr. Reedmar, I am sorry, but Yandy is not available at this time." And Reedmar says, "She needs to be available now. Put me in contact with her. Something's happened." And the protocol droid says, I'm sorry, but she's unavailable. If you will leave a message with me, I'll make sure that she hears it as soon as possible. What do you do, Doro? Because Reedmar looks like he's about to flip his lid.
Well, he told me to shut up. I look around, like, how many droids are there?
There are 2 droids. There's a protocol droid, and it looks like a 2-1B, like a medical droid, is here as well.
Yeah, I wait to see what he tells him, what message he's gonna leave.
Okay, cool. So he leans forward, gets in the protocol droid's face as if that's going to have any kind of effect, and says, You carking bucket of bolts. I know you're in cahoots with Yandy. I'm going to find her. And if you don't think I can slice through these doors, listen, you're going to save yourself a lot of trouble if you just put me in contact with Yandy face to face. And the protocol droid stops for a second. You can hear the whir of the protocol droid's interface, like one of those like little interfaces with the dials in the motor moving around. And then finally, a door, one of the 3 doors that they kind of somewhat blocking, opens up. And it says, Yandy is through there. She's made herself available to you. You should be thankful, Mr. Eatmar.
Yeah, I hope I didn't get a cell shot.
Reedmar walks into the open door. What do you do?
I follow.
Cool. So as you walk into this room, you see that you feel the temperature drop several degrees. And you see that there's a slow rolling fog that comes off of some kind of device. Yandy is inside the device. Star Wars-y tanning booth type thing or something. But she sits up from it as the clamshell is opening up. And you see that she is not alone. Also in here is a person you've probably just seen on the Hollows, the chief adjudicator of the court, Brunhild, is here, a retired bounty hunter who oversees the court and is Yandy's fanatic right hand. She has a number of cybernetic implants on her right arm. Is very obviously cybernetic. And you see that it has like a blaster attachment, like just right here, just right on the metallic part. It is a thing where she is always armed at all times. And she turns and looks at you.
Do they look compromised?
No, she's standing there, and Yandy is clothed, right? So she sits up from the little clamshell thing that's opening up. And Yandy seems like unimpressed by Reedmar's entrance into her sanctum. Mm-hmm. She says, Reedmar, what is it that you want? Reedmar says, listen, Yandy, my people are dying because you won't pay this carking ransom. So you need to take care of it because you know that the Sycorax profits that you see more than cover all the work that my people do to make sure this spice flows in and out of this station. So here's the deal. You take care of that ransom and get my people back. Or, he points to Brunhild, you and your droogs go out and get my people back, or we go on strike. And Yandy seems amused that Reedmar leads off with the threat. And she looks over to you, Doro. She's kind of ignoring Reedmar's vitriol. She peers at you and she says, you, Doro Beza.
Oh. You know my name.
Of course I do. You come highly recommended.
That's good to hear.
Reedmar says, he's here because I brought him here. We're here to negotiate how you're going to take care of my people. And he says, Doro, do you agree with this tactic? That your erstwhile boss is employing?
I believe before you go to threats, you have to first try to negotiate.
And how would you negotiate this particular sensitive situation?
Well, I'm not privy to all of the information, obviously. Perhaps you could negotiate with the, what's their name?
You just
The
call them
people
the syndicate.
with the syndicate. Maybe they want something that isn't cash or credits.
Interesting. Did you take this recommendation, Reidmar? Reidmar says, listen, Yandy. My people are dying because they move your spice. Your spice, your profit. You want to keep your profit flowing. You get them out of this trouble. Talking around me is not fixing your situation. So get your poodoo in order. And he moves a few steps closer to Yandy. And that's when Brunhild moves and kind of inserts herself into the conversation and steps pretty quickly in front, kind of interposes herself. And Reidmar, he recognizes that maybe that escalated a little bit faster than he anticipated. And he hands up, says, you got 1 day. We're going on strike. 1 day, and if I don't have my people back or a plan to get my people back safe, we shut down all the docks. Nothing moves.
May I make a suggestion?
Yandy recognizes you making a suggestion.
I have quite a bit of talking skill, diplomatic skill. I can maybe get to the syndicate and talk to them. You'll need a pilot to get to them, and I think there is a very good pilot among our team. And there's another member who's a very hardworking and would be useful for anything. Perhaps we could do this talking.
All right. It sounds like you are trying to put this to a roll. Go ahead and roll. Is there something you'd like to risk?
I think I'm going to risk my calm.
I think so. That seems appropriate.
This time. So red included, I assume. Well, red is not the lowest, so that's good. And I got 10. Like, it's 3,
Nice.
4, and 6. So 10.
Cool. Yeah, Yandy smiles a little bit. And Reidmar, I'll agree to this, Yandy, as long as if this fails, you pay the ransom or you get my people back. Yandy says,
Sounds good.
yes, of course it would be important for us to continue our healthy operations. This seems like a fair arrangement. Brunhild makes sure that they're provided with a shuttle. Doro, I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. I'm certain of my success.
May the force be with you. Cool. So we will cut back to the you guys working through Prospero's dream. So you guys have headed out of the Canyon Heavy Market. Excuse me. You are passing by the Chop Shop, which happens to be on this level. As you are passing by the Chop Shop, you see that there is someone crawling out of it, and they have no legs.
I think Quint puts a hand out to stop Vlos from rushing forwards because he knows, you know, he's a good man and probably one who would go and help someone. And says, "Sir, are you okay?"
So you see that this person who has no legs, that as they come out, crawling out, they had cybernetic legs. And so there's this like oil trail that they are leaving behind as they crawl out. And when you call sir, this human appears to be in his 50s. His face is very sallow. He turns and he looks at you. He says, and then he turns and starts trying to crawl again.
So if you could stay where you are, Q team are on their way. Vlos called us in. And I think I pull out.
Call into the Q team, and I give the names of the Q team member who introduced himself before.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And let them know that we're, in that area and we have a situation that requires there.
Awesome. So you're calling it in. Quint, you see that there are a pair of, they're basically a couple that are walking around the slice, and they come into view. That the guy, the sallow-faced half cyborg, sees them, and he starts crawling faster towards them. And you hear him say, "It's not me. It's not me. I can't stop. I can't stop." And the couple see this, and they start like backing up. What do you do, Quinn?
I pull out my bolter, and I yell at the couple to run, and I fire a warning shot into the deck next to the thing.
Doesn't even slow down. You fire that warning shot, and the bolt thunk, lands right near him, but he is still going after them, and he's picking up a little bit of speed. Like he's crawling quickly, and his hands are moving. You hear the clank as the skin starts to peel off. The not skin, but basically the covering starts to come off, and you see a cybernetic hand. His right hand is cybernetic, and he's grabbing that and kind of almost throwing himself forward and slaps onto the deck.
Can I try to shoot the cybernetic arm with my bolter?
Oh, you can go for it, man. Let's see if you can do it. Roll. I assume you're using some ammo?
Yeah. Is that what I'm risking?
It feels like the most logical. You're using your
bolter.
What? Oh, you have a bolter. That's right. Way down here. Look at you. Awesome. Yeah, I think you're putting that at risk.
So I roll all 3 dice, yeah?
You do. Yep.
The red is the least, and I got a 7. No. Yeah. A 7.
Cool. So
for a minute I thought I had to use the red one.
Yep. So you use up, just check one of the ammo boxes. And on a 7 to 9, you get what you want, but pay the cost. So I'm going to say that you are going to have to use both ammo boxes, but if you do, you take them down.
Now, am I able to take down the cybernetic arm, or am I having to...
Yeah, you can pin the cybernetic arm.
Then yeah, I'll do that.
You'll be taking him down the way that Quint wasn't going to take him down. So good work.
Correct. Yeah, so you fire, and the first one kind of slams into the wall, and we see the bolt go, and spins a little bit, right? It's got a little bit of mechanics.
I'm jumping to the, I guess I don't want to completely jump to the opinion of, but just that I'm accepting a strong possibility that the cybernetics are infected And that's what he meant. It's not me. Is that the cybernetic is there's got that organic growth in it.
Nice. Cool. And then the other bolt that you fire off, it actually slams into his hand and slams it to the deck. And he keeps trying to move, but it's stuck and he can't like disconnect his cybernetic hand.
So he's still pulling forward even though he can't move the hand.
He's trying to, but it's one of those like chained animal type deal. And you can see he's like trying to pull on it.
Quint will like I imagine that the cyborg has moved away from the chop shop entrance, right?
Yes, he has.
But Quint will run over to the chop shop entrance and peek in before seeing what's inside, and then he's going to try and slam that door shut and seal it in some way.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you can do that. That's not even a roll. That's a fine. You can shut the door, and you're using some of your engineering station overrides there where you can shut it. Babushka can probably slice through that and open it back up if she wants, but for now you're blocking it off. It's a good call. And Vlaz, you hear the QT member call back that they're on their way. And I'm curious, you've got this guy who's cyborg who's trying to wrench this bolt that's stuck through his cybernetic hand so he can go after those two. And he starts saying, and you can hear the metal kind of rip a little bit, but it's held pretty fast.
Are these two people still there?
No, they're way gone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what the cock is wrong with you? Like, yeah. Good shot, Vlad.
Can I scan the cybernetics in some way, like using?
Oh yeah, man. If you want to pull up, if you've got your scanner, then you can do that. Here's the deal. I'll just tell you, like, this is just me talking to you. If you fail, you could get infected.
Well, then I better not fail.
I guess not.
So then what am I risking?
Oh, that's true. You don't have a scanner with you. For some reason, I thought you had a scanner.
I have a multi-tool which decided worked on digital things.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know if
that works. A multi-tool. We can use that. It's not exactly a scanner, so it doesn't do some of the stuff. You're trying to get some a little bit.
I mean, I would say that's maybe why he could possibly get infected, because it's not
true.
Standing back with the scanner. He's got to actually like interface with it.
Okay, so am I risking like vigor, or am I risking charge, or?
That's a great question. Yeah, I think you're risking vigor. And that'll be how we reflect the possibility of infection there. Watching the dice. So excited.
Oh!
Wow. That is snake eyes, but the highest eyes are 2, but it's a fail, so yeah. Yeah. So let's cut away from you.
Excellent.
She move up and start to scan it. We cut away to Doro and Reidmar in the lift again. God. She used you against me. Good work in there getting you and your team a new job. I hope you don't cark it up.
Don't worry, sir. My intention is to bring your men safe.
I know.
That's what you want.
They're not going to listen to you. All they want is Sycorax. They just want the spice.
I know. I do care about people sometimes. And I want them safe too. But I want us safe too.
Kirk this up. Don't even come back to Prospero.
If we fail this, we'll be dead.
Probably. Then he gets back on the comms and he tells them, we've got something worked out. He's talking to a couple of his kind of team leaders. Got something worked out. We're going to be negotiating with the syndicate, sending a team out to work something out with them to save our guys. We're going to give them a little bit of time. It should buy us some time, but you still be ready to go on strike as soon as possible.
We will need some way to contact you to see if whatever they're asking for is even possible, of course. But
yeah,
I thought they just want money. No one wants money.
No. Then you reach the main level and where you had gone down with Raidmar, and he'll head back to the hangar bay to work with, if you remember, Loesch, the dock master, and he'll leave you to your own devices. Dora, you've got really good news. What do you do?
I will contact Floss and Quint.
Awesome.
I'll try to, as they get sick.
Yeah, so Floss, what happens is you get close with the multi-tool, closer, and then this thing, he meets eyes with you, and then he coughs, and this, like, you see these little kind of mist type thing come up, and you move away, and you feel like you got most of it all, but then Quint, you see just a couple of them kind of slip up into his nasal passage, Quint, and you know that Floss has inhaled some of this stuff. But then that cough, he starts rasping hard, and this cyborg guy he's starting to expire. The Q team comes running up, and one of them says, "You bolted his damn hand to them." That's great. And they are spraying this guy with that foam that they have in one of their little things. And that's when you hear the comms from Doro.
Have you got this gentleman? He came out of the chop shop. I'd recommend taking a look in there.
Q team member looks at you and goes, either of you guys get too close to this thing?
No, we both stayed a good 2 meters away from it at all times. After making the shot, we retreated to a safe distance until you could get here. And I look over at Vlos.
Yeah, Vlos, what do you do?
Well, I was just pretty sure he got it all. He's fine.
Okay, awesome. That's good stuff. Yeah, good. All right, so Q team takes this guy, this thing that still appears to be functioning. One of them has to pry the bolt out of the thing, but they've knocked him out. They basically they hit him with an ion blaster to KO him, and they're going to drag his carcass away. One of them stays behind to spray some more foam on all the area, the oil leak and all that kind of stuff, taking some samples and everything. So Doro's reached out to you guys via comm after your brief interaction with the Q team.
Yeah.
Took you a while to answer.
Dealing with something down at we've been dealing with an incident down at the chop shop.
Incident? Aren't you on your free time?
No, I'm doing a side gig for Tempest Security.
Well, I have a better side gig for us all. I heard you said you wanted to fly.
I may have mentioned it once or twice, yes.
Well, I got us a gig that includes you flying.
Doro, I always said you were the best of the Empire.
Yes, I heard you said that many times. I hope to hear it many times more.
Well, I know how much you like hearing it.
I wouldn't brag, don't worry.
So what's the job?
I've lost with you.
I can still see. Oh, Vlos is with me. I thought you said, have you lost video?
Oh, yeah. That's why I was moving around. I was looking at I was moving around.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes, Vlos is right. Yeah.
Yes.
We'll discuss this. Yeah, good. We'll discuss this face to face.
Okay. Where?
Meet me at it's called the Dream Pleasure, whatever was it?
Oh, cool. Awesome. So you guys are, the Dream is what it's what the whole
Heaven.
station's called. You're talking about the Stellar Bird. You want to meet at Heaven, the nice little, Oh, that sounds
Where's
awesome.
the place that Quint had agreed to meet? That
The Psycho Rump.
Yeah, the
The
Psycho Rump or whatever.
Yeah, the Psycho Romp.
was that the
Is that what
Extra?
you counter with? Meeting at the Psycho Romp?
Yeah, wait, I don't see where the Psycho Rump is on Prospero's
It's
stream.
not actually. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
a rinky-dink little. It's one of the places that's listed as just, hey, here's another place. I mean, there are thousands upon thousands of people, so it's
Yeah,
not the
yeah.
swanky, nice, really awesome heaven and the like. It's just this little dive bar that's got some VR tech and holo tech going on.
Yeah, I think we can. I think when Vloz mentions that, goes, what about Prospero's dream? You said you were going to meet someone, and Quint goes, yeah, because as soon as he said flying, he was like, I don't care about meeting this girl or whatever, right? Like it's all, but like, yeah, two X-wings, one blaster ball. I like it.
Cool. So I think this is a great time for us to take our mid-game break. So it's 22 after. Let's take an 8-minute break. We'll meet at half past. We'll see you guys in a few minutes.
Cool.
Can I ask a clarification on something? I think you're muted.
Absolutely. Sorry.
So when I rolled the miss, but the red die wasn't the lowest die, I got the risking of my vigor didn't go down, didn't get checked, but I got infected, which is what I was risking by going into the situation at all, right?
Yeah, that's a really good. It's kind of weird, right? Because
Yeah.
so I think the way I see it is you effectively have the condition of infected, but it hasn't affected your vigor at this point.
Yeah.
So it hasn't taken hold. It's just there. Does that seem fair? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Right. So, where should I mark that condition on the notes?
Yeah, I guess I'm just kind of making a thing up, aren't I? It doesn't really exist per se. Yeah, let's stick it in notes. That's a really good question. Oh, Sierras, you were saying GM decides what you lose in a fail and you can double. So let's see.
Yeah, that's what I understood. Like you roll the 2 dice. If you fail, the GM decides to take something away from you, but you can also choose to risk something of your own. Like if that's
if
what
the
I
red
understood.
die is tied for lowest, yeah, it's a fair point. It's a little. Let me look over. Hold on. Because I was looking in the Ghost Orbit intake, which is for players. There's a GM one, a union rep. Let's see if
I
there's
have
something
not
about.
looked at that.
It's a great little game. Like for $5, it's like pretty great. So let's see. Full success on partial players. It doesn't really talk a whole lot about what to do on failure. So, cool.
Well, that's consistent with PBTA games. Not a lot of direction on a fail.
Yeah. Bad stuff happened. Just think of other RPGs, but like differently. Cool. Welcome back, everybody. So I think we will elide the rest of the night cycle corridor guard duty. As you guys kind of cut it a little bit short to go do more exciting thing. Is that fine?
I mean, we can just say that no more. I can't imagine there being many more significant an incident than
fair enough.
People to get blood tests and dealing with an infected paraplegic.
I am a-okay with that. However, let me say that if we were playing Mothership and officially using this module, you make a roll every slice to see if you have an encounter. It takes forever. Basically, that little like do night duty and 2 rotations is an entire game session. But I looked at that and I'm like, that is what I want to do.
No, that was never what I wanted to do.
No, I know. Like yeah. I just made the executive decision of saying, oh, I'm going to pick out a few things from these tables that are part of the story that we're telling, and we will push along that. And that was really fun. So yeah. There's some crazy stuff on those tables. Crazy cool stuff like for OSR play. But we're doing OSR light, OSR-ish, OSR-esque. So there we are. We did our thing. I stuck in a picture of our Q team member because I realized, you know what? We've had 2 conversations with the guy. So his name is Garrick Servon.
Nice.
Yeah, Garrick Servon. And then the girl, the flirt who lured you guys to Psycho Romp. I put Pomp. Dang it, Rich. Her name is Arani Solano. And so I've stuck those folks into NPCs. And then I have a few pictures for potential NPCs, but they haven't been introduced into fiction. So if we need somebody, we'll just grab one of those three. Just because I like having pictures. Crazy Pinterest boards. So, yeah, you guys head to the Psycho Romp. Is there anything you guys wanted to do, like refresh anything, any encounters that you're interested in before we jump ahead to you guys heading on your shuttle?
I mean, I would like to see if Quint can flirt with Arani while he's in the site, while we meet up with Thingy Doro in the Psycho Romp, and just buy, like, you know, get that free drink or whatever, you know, tell her that Arani sent her, and then just be like, well, yeah, no, real nice place, real lovely place you have here, Arani. I'll have to check it out again sometime, but we're about to go out, you know, another job. Always working, you see.
Cool. And as you can see from the picture, Ronnie outside of the hollow stuff, and she's a little more girl next door look to her. And you also see that she has an interesting little scar across the side of her face that was hidden by makeup. But she's pretty happy to hang out with you and seems interested in chatting, and even asks a little bit about your, like, you've got an Imperial haircut. Were you ever in the service? And she'll try to chat you
I
up.
tap the eye, and I'm like, yes. Straight from the Empire. Like, yeah. Not any of Babushka's D-grade cyberware, but real Empire Sanar flight systems, top of the line rig.
Oh yeah, and she's very interested in that. Like, can I look close? Is that okay?
Feel free.
She'll come up and like kind of look at it really close, and yeah. And as all this is going on, Flaws, I imagine maybe you're just tending a blue milk or something. You hear in the there's a lot of music, like synth music going on, not like Bish, but just like just weird kind of synth wave style music that's going on. But every once in a while, amid the conversation that's going on, you hear Caliban loves you. Caliban loves you. Cool. So
That's not good.
yeah, that's not good at all. Doro, like, how you guys have a few hours before the shuttle's prepped and ready to go. How are you handling this downtime? You've had a major success here.
Hopefully. I'll sit with the guys and I'll look at them. So, as you guys know, we have arrived here not too long ago to walk on this pathetic place. And, well, one of you might like this job. Not 100% sure. Not you. I can see your face. I found us a better gig. I don't know if it's one time or we might be used for more. And you both were in the Imperial military, correct? So you are okay with high intensity situation?
Well, that depends. You see, due to the incident we had to deal with this evening, I'm completely out of ammo in my bolter. And if we're going into a dangerous situation, I'm going to need that refreshed before we head out.
Oh, Vlaz, and he pulls out a script. Here, slams it down and slams it, you know, or taps whatever on his data pad to transfer over one script.
I was hoping that the client would cover our expenses.
Hopefully, once we finish this, we'll get a lot more than that. Yeah, so, yeah.
If you like.
Okay. It'll be a long
thing is, when do I get to get behind the stick again, Doro?
In a few hours.
What will I be
So, I don't know if you both heard. You probably know about the whole situation, that they took some pilots and they're keeping them, and they shot you to death. You both heard of that, right?
Yes, yes.
So our wonderful and smart boss wanted to declare a strike unless something is done on the subject. And I arrived there with him to what was her name? I always forget names. To
Yandy.
Yandy's office. Yes, I was in Yandy's office. And I offered her something in the middle, like if we fail, they'll go on strike tomorrow. If she doesn't pay, it doesn't matter, I guess. We need to go there
And
to the syndicate
yes,
in order to try and talk to them and get a better deal for our place.
talk.
Yes, I suggested talking.
Not shoot out life support and watch them choke in space.
If we
Our
fail,
people
and
are on that ship.
yeah, there's also
Right,
our
right.
people on the ship. Yes.
I mean,
Look,
if we moved fast enough, I'm pretty sure I can hold the cockpit rather than the cargo bay.
so our aim is not to take over their ship or kill them all. Not that I would care if that's what ends up being, but our aim is to try and talk to them and get a better deal than just paying like the syndicate money to get the pilots back. Our intention is to keep the pilots alive, obviously.
Yes.
But yeah, they'll give us a shuttle. We'll get to them. And knowing that you are both drilled in military action, I'm pretty sure you are both useful in this situation. I'll do the talking.
Yes, but
What
it would
you
be
guys
nice.
say?
Yes, it would be very nice for us to be useful and for you to be useful. It's going to be a change all round, I feel.
I could find another pilot, you know.
You could try.
I could try. You're correct on that. Yeah, so what do you guys think? Dangerous, but could bring us a lot.
You had me at fly. Vlos, feeling okay?
Yes, thank you for the loan. Then I'll be ready to go. I'm perfectly fine.
Good.
Hey, Rich, what was the name that it said?
Oh, I will put that in the chat. Caliban.
Caliban? Yeah.
Caliban.
The Shakespeare scholars among you may get the reference.
If you haven't gotten all the Shakespeare references in this particular module, I'm sorry, but yeah, there's so much Tempest going on in here. Okay. Sorry, shut up. I'll shut up.
So yeah, I'll contact you guys in a few hours and we'll be on our way.
Great. Well, Vlos, maybe you should go see a med.
Why would he go see a med?
Oh, you know, stress of today and everything. Don't have to. Just, you know.
Okay.
You're feeling fine. I'm sure you're feeling fine. And Quint looks down at his glass, knocks it back, and looks back at Vlos and goes,
Do you really think
no, if you feel
that's
fine, you
going to
feel
have
fine.
any effect on anything?
Vlos, if you feel fine, then you feel fine. Your health is your health. Did we ever decide what your wife's name was?
Yeah, it's on my sheet. Let me get to that page.
Yeah. What was it? Sutha. Yeah, you know,
Super.
you know, what would Sutha have said if I wasn't looking out for you?
Wow. Okay. So I think Vlas just got guilted into getting himself checked out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like for Quint's downtime is just he's gonna go drink and whatever, right? But he is concerned about Vlas, even if he's not willing to sell him out to Q Team or to force him into doing anything. He's just concerned. If it had been Doro, I mean, Doro did just get him this flight job, but he would have just he would have ratted Doro out in a second to Q2.
See, Vlas doesn't think that there's actually a normal med doctor that would have any clue or ability to do anything. Maybe Vlas will research Caliban and see. So he's sort of doing what he, looking into his health by trying to figure out what Caliban is.
That's such a great idea. I mean, I'm a big fan of that. Honestly, I think you should research Caliban. Yeah.
Okay. How do I go about that in this game world? Is there
yeah, I think
go to the little cubes or whatever to get data?
Yeah, I imagine that what you can do is just grab a data pad and try to slice in. The best place to find out information that people don't want you to know is to go to Canyon Heavy Market, right? Because that's where they have a lot of information people don't want folks to know.
Yeah, and I bet you they've also got like discrete services where you can look up things without other people knowing that you're looking up things, because that's part of the service, right?
Exactly. So you got to spend money on that? Is that what that deal is?
I mean, you can trade money or favors. You are an engineer.
Yeah.
So if you want to try to talk people into giving it up, I'm sure that you can work something out.
Okay, that sounds good.
I'd also like to suggest that sometimes we could even go into debt, right? Like during the session, we could go into -1, -2, whatever, and then when we earn money at the end of it, we can be like, oh, you earned 10, but you already spent 5, so congratulations. You've only got 5 left over now. Welcome to being poor.
Oh, so much about it. Yeah, I think a Canyon Heavy Market scene sounds really fun. I especially like that we can explore that just a little bit. But first, I think we are going to pick up with how long. First of all, let me ask Doro, how long do you stick around after Vlas takes off to go do a little bit of research, take care of his health, as it were? How long do you stick around Psychoromp before you decide to go?
Few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, Quint will buy him a drink to say thank you for, for actually putting that paperwork to use for once.
Awesome. So not long after Doro leaves Quint, this girl that is now kind of sitting near you, Arani, and if you brush her off, she'll take the brush off. She doesn't push against someone who's trying to become part of Tempest, but she would definitely be interested in spending time with an ex-Imperial. She thinks you're interesting, you're kind of dangerous, you've got a crazy cybernetic eye.
I mean, there are very few pleasures on Prospero's dream that don't involve stabbing somebody or doing some dirty work. So it's much nicer just to hang out with somebody for a change.
Cool. She at some point will offer you some Sycorax. She has a light amount of it. You can tell that it's a lower grade quality Sycorax. Just you can kind of tell from the coloration. And she's going to get kind of blissed out at some point. Do you want to keep yourself, kind of keep your head about you?
He says, never before a mission. Afterwards.
Yeah, she totally thinks that's cool. The two of you are enjoying Psycho Romp, and you spot a person you've seen before, a guy by the name of, who calls himself Cutter. He's the commander of the Tempest Company. And he comes into the Psycho Romp. You catch sight of him because he cuts a pretty impressive figure. And he as soon as he spots you, he heads your way. What do you do?
I gently push Arani, like just like slip her arm off me and like just like pat her on the shoulder and then stand up and go, Commander.
Give a minute.
Yes, sir.
Good. Brecco, you were a lieutenant, right?
Yes, sir. Lieutenant 181st TIE Interceptor Squadron, sir.
Good. I hear that you're going to be heading over to the Syndicate.
Yes.
Piloting this Karking to Garuda that thinks some kind of peace is going to be established between the Syndicate and Yandy.
The Karking to Garuda has a way with words, deals and so forth. He may be able to come to some sort of agreement.
You'll be working with him closely, yes?
Yes, sir.
See here, and he pulls up his little data pad. You also, by the way, see that the guy has a pair of really nice looking blasters. Like, they're not Imperial issue. They're heavy blasters. They are illegal on most stations. They're also things that would have been checked according to Prospero's Dream, but he carries them somewhat openly on Prospero's Dream. He says, see here that you put in an application. Join the Corps.
Yes, sir. I'd like to get behind the cockpit again. And Tempest offers the best chance to do so out here.
Us.
And my feeling is that strong air superiority would have meant that we were never in this situation to begin with.
You aren't wrong. Here's what I need from you. If you're willing to do it, I will move you in. You will be a probie to start off with, because you got to pay your dues.
I believe that was what the shift work was for, though, sir. Or was I incorrect?
Yeah. You know, you got to do 4 stints like that before you get in.
I did not.
They don't mention that in the recruitment office.
No, they do not, sir. Still, always hidden holotext, correct?
Of course.
I think I'd definitely be open to any suggestion of how I could pay my dues faster.
20 script. And you'll be a probie if you do this little favor for me. Listen, your Togruta friend is going to be working with the syndicate leader, Oberon Kalos. You take him out. Make it back to the station. You're in the company. And I'll get you a ship.
And I'll have a ship of my own.
I'm going to start off as a freighter moving Sycorax, but I'll have you on the fast track, son. You interested?
Very interested, sir. Very interested.
Good.
Consider Mr. Oberon as dead as Alderaan.
With that, he drops a couple of script your way, and he will take off. Says here, pay the rest of your bill. You probably don't want to drink anymore. You've got important work to do.
Indeed. And I think Quinn orders one of the stimulants that must be behind the bar to help people get over there, clear the alcohol out of their system.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that is an offer that is too good to turn down, really, isn't it?
I mean, it's just too good to turn down. There's no bad part of this at all. It's great.
No, there's no downside to this whatsoever.
It's just, wow. It's just, the fortunes are smiling on you. So good. Yeah.
Before we go, whoever is managing us right now, because I assume it's not Raidmar, I would like to ask them for equipment, like weapon.
Oh, you want to procure a weapon?
I would no. I want like to be given one because I'm going into an unsafe place in case things go awry. AWOL, whatever.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll say that your union rep is Gunvina, and he will say, "Oh, if you want to take that on a, loaner, yeah, sure, of course. It will be important for you to have that to keep yourself safe. They'll probably take it off of you as soon as you step into the syndicate, but it's good to have. Yeah. And so he will give it to you, but basically he's going to charge you one more script than you're basically, when you get paid, you'll have to immediately pay for the thing retroactively.
And what is it that I just got?
Great question. I think that he's going to give you a bolter.
Oh, no, I want to go straight then. I don't know about, I'm not going to ask it from Yendi because I'm not in communication with her, but maybe with whoever is managing us in this operation, I want to ask them for an actual weapon.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So if you are willing to basically take it on loan, as it were, similar to what Will had thrown out there, you can take it as a blaster. You'll have to ride it in, right? Because we don't have that as any of the drop down.
Sure. Yeah, just making sure. I'll just leave it 222. Oh, no charge, I assume.
Yeah, bolter. Let's see, hold on a sec. It would effectively work similar to like a bolter. So you'd have an ammo of 3 for that, for a blaster.
Oh. Okay.
On a similar note, Quint would like to go and see if he can buy a holdout blaster. So
that's
one that can be snuck past any search or whatsoever.
Nice. Okay, so the blaster that Doro you've picked up, it's a thing that you can like pick up once you get on the shuttle. Like it's a thing they'll give it to you in the hangar. You're not going to carry around in the station because you've gotten up off board. They're not going to go up against Tempest. What Quint wants to do is super illegal, and the best place to do that.
I mean, if I was retro, if I'd thought about it like 5 minutes ago, I would have mentioned it to Cutter.
Yeah, that probably been a good idea.
Because I imagine they've got all of those things locked away somewhere, and all I have to do is go walk past that locker at a certain time, and I might be able to pick something up, right?
Yeah, exactly. But if you head down to Docktown, you can pick up a lot of stuff. You can also get stuff out the court.
Okay, so I would love a holdout blaster, however means, and I'm willing to pay the 3 to get it and keep it, as mine effectively.
Sweet. So let's say you head down to the court. That seems like the best place to go. But we're going to pick up with our friend Vlaz as he heads to Canyon Heavy Market. So let me head down. So Canyon Heavy Market. Do a quick screen share because I like the picture of this thing. Yeah, hold on. Yeah. There we go. Cool. So the Canyon Heavy Market, there are several areas that are kind of locked off and ways to move about. But the first place you walk into is the battle stations. It's a 0G area, a workspace covered in multi-terminal workstations with all kinds of console cowboys, underlit in neon green. They drift between terminals, and there are clan games that are going on. There's a gigantic scoreboard that floats in the center of the room, and there's Daytona smoke and crushed Cadre Cola cans everywhere. This is a nerd's dream, and that is the best place if you want to find a terminal free to use. Unfortunately, you have to do it 0G environment. You can also head to the Canyon Heavy data cache, which is where there is a nest of servers and terminals. The terminals here are a data cache of all Canyon Heavy assets. That will cost you a script just to access into, but it's also a more stable work environment. So do you want to head to the battle stations, the possibility of a failure meaning you're drawn into a clan game, or do you want to go to the data cache, log in there, but it costs you a script to do it?
So is the battle stations a place where I would be able to negotiate with somebody for?
Oh yeah, there are lots of console cowboys here who would be very chatty and happy to.
And a console cowboy is like what's a hacker?
Yeah. I just the term is like an old. I remember console cowboy. I heard it in
Neuromancer.
Neuromancer. Thank you. I was like spacing. I was trying to think of the BBC radio drama where they had a console cowboy. By the way, that's one of my favorite BBC pieces. Is the Neuromancer. It's so good. Yeah, it's awesome. Anyway, yes, that's just a term for a slicer, a hacker, a data jockey. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll go. Is there a way of, I'll find one who looks competent, I guess.
Okay.
Or that I've heard of, has a reputation or something.
Cool. You scan it around trying to find a slicer who's got some kind of recommendation. You recognize a girl who's got her hair pulled back in very tight cornrows. Lamia. You know that's got to be some kind of fake name, but Lamia is a console cowboy who you've heard of. She did a thing where she did like effectively a deep fake of Palpatine, making an announcement a few years ago that was totally fake and kind of set the holonet ablaze. And she's been hiding out in Prospero's dream ever since because Imperials came after her in waves. But yeah, you find her.
Did that after Palpatine's death or before?
No, before. This was a few years ago. Basically, she did this during the time of just before Return of the Jedi time frame. So maybe 2 years ago.
Okay, so how long has it been since the events of Return of the Jedi?
I think it's been less than 6 months. Right, because the paint still needs to be really, really fresh for flaws. This is the first job you guys got after, you basically your Imperial jobs went away, kind of stuff.
Okay. So, I'm going to ask her if she's up to. If there's a way we could work out a deal for her to look up some information for you.
Oh, sure. So she's got to look up information, but you need to make a roll to see how forthcoming she'll be about this. So
I'm going to offer my services as a mechanic and give her my resume. So I don't have to pay for what she's doing, right? I'll pay you in trade.
Okay, cool.
So would that be risking my skill or my face?
I think let's have you risk your. I think risking your skill sounds okay with me. I'm interested in that. Let's see how it goes.
So hopefully I roll better this time.
We'll see.
Oh. No.
That would be a no. Yeah, it looks like a
No.
fail. Back to 6. Like just that kind of failed. Like that like smarts a little bit more because you just barely failed.
And again, now it's a 5. Is the red die? Does that matter in a fail?
So the way I read it is generally the thing you risk. I'm going to say let's go ahead and keep your training where it is. I'll just do a move here.
Okay.
And she starts hacking away. Caliban. She eases back in her little chair that floats alongside her because you guys are in a 0G environment, and she says, "Yeah, so there's this cybernetic being called Caliban that just recently started appearing. He seems to have some kind of hate on for Dr. Bankali. Do you know a Bankali?" And that's not a name that you would.
That's not a name I recognize. I was just going to go click on the NPC tab to go see if there was an NPC you had listed. So do you know who Bankali is? I've never heard of that person, Dr. Bankali.
Oh yeah, he's been gone for a while. He showed up on the Dream 20 years ago, maybe 20 cycles. He had a sick daughter named Ariel. And he actually set up where the babushka on a lot of her work based off of some of his early pieces. Really good in cybernetics. A lot of cyber mod treatments he tried for her. It didn't work out, but then he kind of disappeared. And recently this Caliban person's been using some of his old mods for communication. You know anything about Caliban?
No, that's why I was coming here, because I heard someone use the name.
And so, this is going on, and then all of a sudden you feel this like irrepressible urge to like cough, like something's got in your throat. And it's one of those just you cough, barely get your hand up, and she doesn't notice it, but you could swear that you see a few little black dots kind of stream over, and one of them lands on her face, and then she kind of moves back from you, but when she draws in, you see it just like snake up into her nose. What do you do?
I think I actually got the answers I was looking for. And so I thank her and I go. Right?
Yeah.
Or does she seem like she has more to say?
No, she just tells you that Caliban is using a lot of the cyber mod relays, and he's some kind of like cybernetic being, she thinks. But he's using a lot of the stuff that Dr. Bankali had set up before. So Bankali.
But he's appearing here on the station or in the system?
In the system. Like no one's physically seen a Caliban. She's just seeing and hearing remnants of him around. Make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, cool. So you're just gonna, you don't mention that the thing that you saw that she didn't seem to notice, right? You just let that go. Probably best if you do. I mean, well, it's fine.
Yeah,
All right. It's good. You just
yeah,
leave them. It's
yeah.
good. Good call.
Let's
Awesome.
do that. Yeah.
Sweet.
Because I can't get quarantined before we do this mission.
No, you can't. That would be terrible. They would fail at their mission. You've got to work.
Yeah.
Gotta help these guys. Cool. So Doro, where were you headed after
but
you?
you know what? I had the void suit.
Uh-huh.
I think I'm gonna put that on and the helmet up and everything when I'm around the rest of my group.
Dude, that is such a good thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
Really good idea. And it would have looked totally weird at Canyon Heavy Market, so it's good that you didn't do it there.
Right.
No problem. Sweet. So Doro, after you pick up your blaster from your union rep, Gunvina, what do you do before you guys go meet up?
Try to get some info on what this syndicate might really want if they don't just want money. Or if there ever was someone who spoke to them and got out of it alive.
So yeah, that's pretty. They want in on the spice trade, something heavy. Do you want to give me a roll? And if there's something you want to risk, you can roll an extra die if you want.
So I'm like basically thinking, is there any middle ground in the place? Like, is there even like maybe I even talked to what's her name, to Yendi or whoever she sends to explain to me what she's willing to give, what she isn't willing to give, because I assume I'm not just going to talk and then get shot and she gonna.
Oh right, yeah, like what Yandy's willing to offer, right? So yeah.
Can I make a suggestion? Based upon real life tussles with organized crime unit gangs.
That
the syndicate effectively is running a protection racket on us, and the way that the cutting them in, the agreement that we can come to is that for a portion of whatever that we're willing to offer, they're offering us protection from pirates, raiders, and anybody else who gets this idea. So like buying them off just buys them off one time and they'll come again, but entering into a working arrangement means that they get a slice and they're going to keep on, like if Yandy's willing for them to enter into an ongoing relationship.
And maybe a smaller slice than what they're asking for, but
an ongoing one rather.
An ongoing one, yeah.
Yeah.
Is she?
Well, what Yandy's willing to offer is that it's obvious, right? They've proven their point that once freighters leave Prospero's dream to distribute the spice, that they're at risk. So she's not going to let them in. She's not going to give them any of the Sycorax whatsoever, but she's willing to offer them a certain number, like a stipend, effectively, to act as escorts to get the stuff out. And it's a little bit of an extortion racket, right? But it also means that, like, if they are happy with that, they're not going to waylay the freighters that are going in and out. However, what she's offering is half of what they've asked for. So yeah, it's a thing where you've got the deck stacked against you, and you have the feeling that Yandy's doing this more of a ploy for time to keep a strike from happening.
Sure, yeah, that
it doesn't expect you to be successful.
Yeah, no. As for the syndicate, do I know anything of their structure? Maybe there's a way to influence someone.
Oh, yeah. It's so their structure, they may have some kind of backing. The syndicate is pretty new. It's comprised of a number of ex-Imperials, actually. And Oberon Kalos is was basically, he wasn't like Moff level, but he was an officer in the Imperial Corps, and now he's slid right over to being the leader of the Straightmire Syndicate.
I see. Okay. Well, sure. I think I'm ready.
Awesome. So we pick up with you guys standing in front of a sturdy shuttle that has a couple of guns on it. It has one kind of belly turret and then a pair of turbo lasers up on the front. You can tell, Quint, that it's in decent shape, but it's the kind of ship that if it gets blown out of the sky, as it were, it's not going to set Prospero back a whole lot. It's seen some use. Let's just say it saw some use in the Clone Wars. So it's about 50 years old. Now, it's like classic car, right? So they've kept it up. But they haven't really retrofitted anything. And you can pick that up, Flaws, as you get on board. You see that evidently somebody got a warehouse full of parts and they've just kept using those parts, reconditioning, maybe even using some kind of printing capabilities to keep the thing in workable shape. But it's not like they've gone in and said, hey, this nav computer is not up to spec. Let's rip it out and put in a new one. They've just kept that one going, as it were.
But she's space worthy. She's not.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
It's an outdated ship, but it checks out.
Yes, exactly.
It might even be criminal to update it with modern technology.
Exactly. You're on the same page. Why would you do that? Right? This thing is great the way she is.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, she could be tuned, but
I mean, I think this is canonically going to be about half the age of the Millennium Falcon, right? Because the Millennium Falcon's like some hunker junk that's been knocking around the Star Wars galaxy for God knows how long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Although the Millennium Falcon, at least according to like books and comics and all that kind of stuff, like they have patchworked that damn thing together. Like, oh, here's some Imperial like this and the cloaking and all this other crazy stuff. And their hyperdrive has been replaced multiple times. But this one is just, it's factory stock, as it were, except that factory is no longer in operation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if we're on the ship and are we setting off? Are we?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Quint's a big smile on his face as he sits down in the cockpit, and you see him moving with an energy and a sort of discipline that he doesn't show at all when he's on the job, doing the drudge work. And he runs everyone through the cockpit protocols and everything, and he's like, right, Doro, you may be in charge of the team as when we go out, but you have to understand that when we're here in the ship, my word is the order, and you all do exactly what I say, correct?
As long as it's ship related, sure.
Yes, and ship related is also get on the ship before I leave you to the hard vac, yes?
Sure.
Yes, okay. Well, now that we're all clear, let's punch it into the nav computer. Vloz, if you can make sure that loose auxiliary pump doesn't come disconnected as we fly, I'll take us out. And yeah.
Never liked flying in space.
Loss is in a vac suit, friends.
yeah.
I mean, I look at him and I go, not the worst idea in the world. These old tin cans have been known to leak air if we take in any fire. You might want to consider it, Dora.
Yeah, if I only had one.
And I think that Quint is wearing his armor with just like a face mask, kind of like a tie sort of mask.
Mm-hmm.
Not the full helmet regalia kind of thing, but like just a breather, so that like hanging loose around his neck, because he's used to not having the oxygen flow available. So he's not in this void rig, but if we do get hold, he'll be able to. But yeah, okay.
Just make sure you fly well.
And as he says that, sort of veers off to the side and then does a barrel roll around the body of Prospero's dream and hugging the thing, and then lines up for the jump to light speed to hyperspace.
Nice.
We need to.
So Vlaz is gonna want to go talk to Quint once we're, en route.
Yeah, new movies aside, I always imagined hyperspace as taking some amount of time to actually get you to
it takes plot level of time to get to place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I open up by giving Quint back his script and say, I decided not to bother arming my boltcaster. They're just gonna confiscate it when we get there anyway, so I'm not gonna have any use for it. Though I did take your advice and went and looked into what's going on, and it's probably not really good at all. And
how are you feeling, Vlad?
I feel fine, but I also feel like I may have gotten somebody sick back at, I think I'm a carrier at least.
Is that?
That's why that mask is on, yeah. And Doro can hear this conversation.
Well, that was about to be Quint's question, and Doro.
I'm just talking out loud so that all of us can hear.
I think Quint looks over at Doro and says, so Quint got a bit close to one of those people at the chop shop. Now, can we keep this within the crew?
In fact, it might be useful.
Well, we send him off to the Strackmeyers. I like the way you're thinking.
How far into mechanical hands and such do you think the syndicate are?
Oh,
just a few coughs could destroy them.
Which part of the Imperium did you work for again, Doro? Was it the Special Weapons Project?
No, of course not.
Under Miss Isard, I believe.
No. I just worked at my home. Paper pusher, as you called me.
Yes, there are some very dangerous pieces of paper when you think about it, though. Yes.
There are indeed.
Well, Vlaz, I'm not sure they'll let you keep the vac suit on once you step aboard the freighter.
How terrible.
Okay.
I hope you don't mind that I will be standing fairly far away from you at all times.
Do you remember the fellow in the hall with no legs?
Vaguely, yes. I have some recollection of that.
Some recollection. Do you remember him trying to say something?
Yes. Something.
Yeah, that's Caliban.
Is that some sort of Sith Lord?
Apparently, he loves me.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Caliban loves you?
Yeah, so I went and I looked it up. And he's some kind of cybernetic being. And he's using a lot of the technology that Babushka got when she took over her chop shop. That chop shop used to belong to someone else. Rich, what was the doctor's name?
The doctor's name is, sorry, I had moved off that page. Emil Baum-Kali. I'll put it in chat.
So this Caliban is a former client of the former owner of the chop shop, correct?
Yeah, and what was that gal's name that we met?
Arani?
Arani, okay. All right, so sorry, Baum-Kali had, that's funny. Baum-Kali had a daughter named Aria, or is it Aria or Ariel?
Ariel.
Ariel. And Ariel was sick.
Really?
And he was trying newer and newer cybernetic experimental technology. And I don't have a definitive answer as to what happened to Ariel. Did she say she was dead?
Yeah, she's dead.
She
didn't make
died.
it.
So he was unsuccessful in saving her. She died.
So,
But-
Vloz, have you met Caliban? When did they tell you that they loved you?
When I was having a cough, I heard it in my head.
So you hear voices.
And there's some kind of cybernetic being.
I told you about hokey old time religion, Vloz. I told you about the superstitions. I warned you.
Look, I saw the specs for that exhaust. No one could shoot at that angle. The force is not a myth.
No, I saw Lord Vader himself strangle an admiral who failed him from across the room. In fact, I heard tell that he strangled an admiral from across a parsec. The force is very much real, I'm sure. However, the ghost of a cyborg speaking in your head about how much he loves you?
Yeah, that's not good. Do I really want to spread that to anyone else, even if it is a syndicate?
I think we'll just keep our distance, Vloz, and we'll deal with this when we get back to the dream.
Does Vloz have any mechanical parts to him?
I don't believe so.
No, the cold sensitivity resistance thing is a CHIS thing rather than a...
Yeah, we hadn't established any kind of cybernetics on it.
Yeah. So you have to have cybernetics.
No, that's an augment, right? I thought the cold tone...
Well, we called it an augment, but he's CHIS, so we were just saying that's a species augment, as it were.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Because the CHIS resists cold.
Yeah, an augment in the script can be like mutations or whatever, as well as...
Exactly.
So even someone without any mechanical parts could get this sickness.
Maybe that's why I'm not having any serious
side effects,
physical effects, other than a bit of a cough. But the cough seems to be more of a way of spreading it.
We shouldn't have fixed that stupid shit. We should have destroyed it.
Quint, did you see when that individual coughed at me? Did you see anything in the...
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
I saw that. I'm sorry, Rich, what was the name of the battleground? Was that it?
Yeah, in the battlegrounds.
Battlegrounds. And what kind of cowboy was she?
Console cowboy.
Console cowboy. So then I tell him, I got this information from Console Cowboy, and I coughed, and I saw that thing get on her.
So what you're saying is that Canyon Heavy, possibly the most augmented group of people in the entire station, maybe the entire sector of space, is now infected.
Yeah.
And I think Quint just idly looks at the navicomp and starts to look at what other planets are reachable on the hyperstrive from here.
And I think that's when you guys come out of hyperspace. Come out of hyperspace, you see that there are there's actually a squad of 8 ties that scream past. But when you see them, Quint, you see they're very obviously like marked up. There's all kinds of weird graffiti on them. The Stratmeyer Syndicate symbols on the little, those weird panels, right? So it's obviously like these are TIE fighters that have been, they've just left, and they are all serving this new syndicate.
Like the Taliban driving around T-72s and things like that back in Afghanistan after the Russians.
Absolutely. Exactly like that. That is dead on.
I think Quint looks disgusted and says, the Empire stood for something, and these people.
Our previous rank may hold some weight with them.
Yes, well.
Whatever we have at our advantage, use it.
Yes, you're a sergeant, correct?
Yeah.
Well. So you referred to me as Lieutenant, Sergeant, and what were you again, Durham? Second junior clerk? Intern?
We didn't have any particular military names. Just
No,
the
but
clerk.
Administrator? First class?
Oh, if only.
I'll simply call you Administrator Doro then. Yes?
Good enough.
Yes. Okay.
Sounds like a lovely.
Yes. Well. Give you that promotion you always dreamed of.
Oh, if I would be the administrator, I wouldn't be in this shit.
You're hailed and given a nav point series to follow to land on the main thing after you guys transmit that you're coming from Prospero's dream, and you're the attaché or the negotiators that were sent from Tempest and Yandy. So the Bratva are the folks that they want to talk to. So they do, and a pair of TIE fighters come in and they kind of escort you guys, kind of like in the cloud cars, when they escorted the Millennium Falcon. And I'm curious, Quint, you recognize the voice of the pilot who is escorting you. He served with them. What kind of Imperial was this pilot? Tell us a little bit about them.
This pilot, this Imperial, was he wasn't a very good pilot, but he was very loyal to to his squadron, to his teammates, to everybody. Like he always believed in maybe not the Empire, but in his unit, and in anything could be justified as long as it was like looking out for his brothers, which is probably why he's ended up here, because when all the Empire fell apart, he stuck with the people he was with rather than. And I suppose that Quint is slightly shocked that this guy's ended up with the Syndicate, knowing the Syndicate's they're essentially glorified raiders. They're exactly the kind of people that we were flying against out on the Outer Rim before the rebellion diverted us away from peacekeeping. And now he's ended up here.
I just grabbed the name. His name is Crix Alcyon. He's on the NPC list. He looks so clean and so perfect and well shaved and young and everything. Crix is on row 21. So, yeah, Crix keeps perfect formation, and you guys get escorted in. Eventually, you come through the kind of screen into the hangar, and you see that there are stormtroopers here, right? They don't wear any of the stormtrooper armor, but you see that there are a few soldiers here who are armored, and they are wearing obviously the symbol of the syndicate. Anything? Oh, Flaws, do you remove your vac suit?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, no one's told you to yet.
That's true.
Okay.
And my bolter is open on my side.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you guys land. You drop the. I never remember what it's called. Like the ramp. Gangplank. Yeah, sure. Gangplank. Ramp comes down, and a couple of the guys come and stand at the base. One of them has it's a stormtrooper carbine, right? And another one has he has the blaster carbine. The other one has this like carbine that's not Imperial issue, and they have this like they could snap to at any second kind of thing, but there's a casualness about their military stance. And so, Flaws, when you start to come down, one of them's, what are you wearing a vac suit for? You sick?
Not sure.
Maybe you should stay on the carking ship, buddy.
He's wearing a vac suit, gentlemen. Are you afraid that it's going to penetrate through the vac suit? This isn't some Sith magic, you know?
I think you're trying to.
It's probably just the Gamorrean flu, you know?
Oh, that's nice. Give me a roll on that.
I should really have put more points into face.
Should have. Maybe a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Next time I get paid, maybe. $10.
Nice. And the guy who doesn't have the Imperial blaster carbine laughs, elbows his buddy. He's just got a bolter. All right.
I do have a blaster. Like I hold it like in a very gross way. We were told we're supposed to put them somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't even know how to hold it.
Yeah, he reaches out, he takes the blaster from you, and this will be returned when you guys get back on the ship.
Wonderful. I'm happy we are doing business with people of culture. What they say about you there.
And the other one says, he looks at your bolter, Flaws, but then he just lets it go. Like it's a bolter. They need to recognize it as a weapon. It's like, I'm not going to take this carpenter's nail gun away from them because that makes me sound like a weenie. And so the three of you are escorted deeper into the ship. This is a large, like, this is Space War. This is Star Wars. This is space opera. It's a big ship, right? I think maybe it's maybe a gunship, right? I think it's not a rebellion style. It's just maybe a it wouldn't be Corellian design because they were really kind of all in with the rebellion. So,
I mean,
so we're not on the ship that was captured. We're on the ship where.
Oh, that's a really great. Yeah. You're on the ship that was captured. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah. So you're on the heavy freighter that was captured, right? And they just the Stretmar Syndicate is just on here. And
we passed their assault shuttle in the hangar bay, right? Like that they boarded with. And,
yes, absolutely. Yeah, you passed through the assault. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. It's way better. Way better. Good idea. And then Flaws, as you guys are heading out of the hangar bay, do you hear that voice again? It says Caliban. Caliban is happy. What is this new place?
I try to think of Sol Invictus and the brightness of the sun, and I'm gonna try to force Caliban either out of me completely through force of will, or at least get him to recede or something.
Awesome. I think you should make a roll. Are you willing to risk something for this?
Yeah. What are the stats? What are
Calm, face, and vigor are the stats, the
Calm.
vitals that you have.
Right? Because I think
that
this
seems
is,
fair.
yeah. And what are the other stakes involved?
Yeah, if you risk calm, if you with a 10 plus, you're going to quiet Caliban's voice in your head. With a 7 to 9, Caliban will be quiet for a while, but it's going to cost you. And then on a fail, I get to make a hard move.
Nice. Well, let's see if I. All right. Whoa. So wait, is it? It's the highest and the lowest. I got 3 5s.
I saw that. That is awesome. Yeah, you push it out. You think of the Sol Invictus, and you actually hear Caliban recoil from that. And the voice grows quieter and quieter. You hear the echo of it. It's as if it's retreating deeper into your mind, farther away. And you feel a sense of peace. You may have shut it the hell up.
Okay.
And so you guys walk down a large corridor past a number of other ex-Imperials and other mercenaries and head into the conference room, whereupon you see Oberon Kalos. He's on row 16 in the NPCs tab, E16, Oberon Kalos. And yeah, I think, Doro, you recognize Oberon Kalos. What is it? When did you guys work together? Was it
together? I worked totally under him, way under him.
Together.
He was managing my planet, basically.
Oh, nice. So he was managing
the military part, the army part.
Sweet. So yeah, he looks across, he meets your eyes, and he chuckles. Oh, this is unexpected. Doro Beza. Have a seat. And with that, we will go ahead and bring this session to a close.
Everyone knows my name.
You got 5 in administration. You're like the best clerk. Cool. So we'll bring this session to a close here. It's a little bit early, but it allows us to have some time for feedback. So let's go ahead. Stick with the roses and thorns, because I definitely want to get a feel for how the game, after we made the tweaks, how it felt to you guys. So we will start with thorns. Thorns are any points of confusion or things that still felt a little wonky, and also any like weird points of the story where you're like, that didn't super fit for me. So critical feedback. Reminder, friends, I am the son of a Marine Corps sergeant who became a high school principal. I can take your critical feedback. It will only make me stronger. So with that ahead of time, because I know sometimes us story gamers, we get a little touchy-feely and, what's the thorn for you? A thorn is we didn't get to play for 5 hours. Like, no. Like, if there's something that didn't work, let me know, because I think Ghost Orbit has a lot going for it, but I also want to make sure that it's like slotting in to where things are. But I'll shut up because I'm asking for your feedback. Who'd like to go first?
I can go first if you guys want to think about stuff. Yeah.
Go ahead, Will.
I can always open my mouth. Yeah. Roses, I love the station. I love the way that it's feels like a place. and we've managed to get all the factions and stuff involved. I like the cost attached to refresh thing as well. I would say that my only thorn is, again, I feel like the resources don't, like I could have, like he's got, like Erez has got 5 in administrator, right? But effectively, unless he fails his dice rolls every time, all that is giving him is more opportunity to mess up, it's not really boosting any of those rolls beyond a 1 space. Does that make sense? Like, unless he fails, he doesn't lose anything.
Yeah.
Like, he has 5. It's basically he's got 5 charges at trying using his admin status, right?
So you get to roll with advantage 5 times regardless.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you might get more if you don't fail.
Don't mess up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But how many rolls per session per thing? I mean, it feels as,
Yeah.
and especially in terms of things like ammo as well, when you've got like the gun and you fire the gun and you only lose ammo if you fail, or I mean, like, you're risking your ammo rather than. And again, I'm like, I like it, but I feel like it's not. It's there's an excess of resources, maybe, like it's not costly.
Yeah, I think maybe training is a thing where I just need to. And I hate being this guy, but like I almost have to say, like, no, the training is very, like, it needs to have a narrow band where the training applies.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think
what
that
I
it
thought it's
becomes.
supposed to be.
And I'm not saying that you're trying to cheat the system at all, areas. I think you only really wanted to use it when it felt like it applied.
Even with that, even I would say more so, the more narrow you make it, and the less point there is in ever having more than 2 points in it. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's a fair. It cuts both ways. That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
I really like the idea of you being able to be like the best, because I was looking at like, how would I make this guy the best TIE fighter pilot, right? But really all it'll come down to is that I will again have 5 chances at rolling with advantage, right? Which I may or may not lose anything for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I like it, but I don't know how you resolve this without like a major overhaul of the whole.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's a really scaled down World of Dungeons hack to allow you to roll with advantage. If you risk something, how do you get more nuance out of it to where you really feel like it's a fair point. I don't know if that's something we can easily solve, but it's something I'll keep in the back of my mind. If we have ideas, we'll try it out.
Yeah. I mean, there's always the next time hack, right?
Yeah. Any other thorns?
I mean, the thorn for myself is just now I'm wondering how the hell I'm going to assassinate Oberon without getting us all killed.
Oh yeah, I'm wondering that too.
Yeah, and I'm like, should I have brought a thermal detonator rather than a holdout blaster?
I could cough on it.
Oh God.
Ha ha ha.
After walking in on a vac suit and being very honest that you're sick, yeah, that'd be a good idea.
If only I'd discussed that with you there, and then I feel like Vloz is too nice of a person for Quint to convince him to be a walking bioweapon. Yeah.
Cool.
Which I already feel guilty about having done.
Yeah.
Who'd like to go next for thorns?
I think it got better when we specified what was at stake when making a roll. Like, if you know what I mean? Like, when you said if you succeed, this happens. On a 7 to 9, this is what is and on a miss, then I'm going to make a hard move. And because some of the earlier rolls in the session felt a little ambiguous, and I wasn't really sure what I was rolling about.
That's fair. That's fair. That's good feedback. I appreciate that. The specified stake setting is something I'll just make sure.
Also, like that Vloz has been going in a direction that I wasn't expecting. But it seems kind of interesting because by boosting up Calm and invoking Sol Invictus to, I don't know, maybe I can play with that in weird ways next time, Colonel. Oh, there was one other thing. When I looked on, pardon me, the Hangouts calendar,
Mm-hmm.
there is, I think, the same. There was someone named Scott. No, I can't find.
Yeah, don't worry about that. You're in the next session, right?
Okay,
I'll
but
just
even
expand it if I need to.
So if he comes, we can just have another person join us. That'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll work it out.
Great.
Don't worry.
Awesome.
Yeah, you're
I
in.
don't
Thanks
want-
for bringing
yeah,
that up.
but I
That was something I was going to mention to you, but yeah, you're definitely in. I would not cut you out
I
on
don't want
this.
to be responsible for like holding somebody
Yeah, no,
out.
it's fine.
Out.
We'll work it out. It's fine. Cool. Eris, any thorns that you wanted to offer up?
Don't think so. Like, went swimmingly well for me today. Like the rule seems okay. I can understand all like you can risk things, but I think you can only risk them in such a case. But yeah, they don't give you any more than that. But like, yeah, no. Like,
cool.
No.
Do you have any roses you wanted to offer up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Quint on his first piloting gig since ever. That was fun hearing him describe how he sits and starts doing things and take cover and Vlos's sickness. That's fun. That's gonna be fun, isn't it?
I mean, I forgot to mention, but I'm enjoying Doro's like conniving, and I'm quite enjoying the antagonism between Quint and Doro as well.
Oh, I'm here for it. It's great to hear you guys.
Conniving? Me? What are you talking about?
And
I'm just a paper pusher.
Vloz is like the only decent one out of all three of us, for sure.
Yeah, except that I coughed in a woman's face and am pretty positive I infected her with a fatal disease.
It's gonna kill everyone.
Walked away.
But the difference is that A, you feel bad about it, and B, you just do that on purpose. Whereas that was totally we were both thinking the second that you said you were infected.
Let's use him. Useful.
Cool. Marco, did you have any roses you wanted to hand out?
I really enjoyed Quint as the cocky pilot. That totally came across like he was Top Gun. And yeah, also Doro weaseling everything we wanted out of this situation and got us right in the middle of the action, which is where we need to be. So yeah, kudos.
Yeah. Will, did you have any other roses? You already did some roses, so you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
I will say, I love that we've gone off the map. I mean, this is a game about like, hey, go do stuff on the station. Now, you guys are like, hey, let's be the negotiating team to talk to this criminal syndicate that's trying to muscle in. Like, that is, we're
Map.
so off the
What
map.
map? Don't show me the map.
Where we're going, we don't need roads. I love it. It is very fun, and I like this little team. You guys are terrible and awful and wonderful at the same time. So thanks so much for giving this a shot. I'll give you a few extra minutes. We'll get out a little bit early here. It hardly ever happens, but I'll take it. Thank you guys, and we will finish up next week.
Yeah, I'm going to say I do feel like we're going to get back to Prospero's dream, and everyone's going to be turned into zombies, and it's just like, okay, back up. Let's go.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
That's what you do too.